everyone, and welcome to the MFG Advocate on IMTS TV. I'm Penny Brown, talking to Dean Bartles, the Senior Technology Advisor at the American Society of Mechanical Engineers. How are you today, Dean?
So far, so good, Penny.
All right, so today we're going to talk about MForesight, a new public-private consortium. Just give us an explanation. What is this?
So MForesight, like you said, is a public-private consortium. It's basically focused on emerging advanced manufacturing technology, a combination of companies and universities getting together and taking a look in their crystal balls, trying to determine what are the new technologies that are going to be coming down the pike in the next 10 years, and sort of how can we get ahead of those to understand them better and predict what kind of manufacturing workforce needs and skills will be required in order to execute and implement those technologies.
Now, I understand this is a 3-year project, is that correct?
Yeah, it's a 3-year program sponsored by both the National Science Foundation as well as the Department of Commerce NIST, the National Institute of Standards and Technology. So they are jointly sponsoring the program. It was competitively awarded to the University of Michigan. Dr. Sridhar Kota leads the activity, but he has a wide array of companies and universities that are participating.
Now, how specifically is this consortium connecting with manufacturers?
So the idea is to have manufacturers of all sizes participate. So we want those game-changing ideas. And if anyone has an idea, by the way, they're welcome to send it into MForesight. You can just go to their website, you can send them an email. But we're looking to sort of see what's coming down the pike and how can we tap into the experts throughout the manufacturing industry, both the large guys as well as the small mediums, because a lot of times, as you know, Penny, the small mediums, they have the new cool, really technologies that the big guys are looking for.
Sure, and actually, one of the things, a topic that's been around manufacturing is with things going digital, digital manufacturing. A lot of smaller and medium-sized enterprises are having a hard time leveraging that. Is there something that MForesight is doing to kind of bridge that gap?
Yeah, so MForesight, in addition to getting inputs from companies as well as academia who are on the cutting edge of the research, they're also taking a quick look across these manufacturing innovation institutes. Now, I just left the Digital Manufacturing Design and Innovation Institute. I was the founding executive director there, and we're looking exactly at that technology, the digital technology, and how can we track all the zeros and ones, all the bits and bytes that make up that computer-aided design model through the entire manufacturing process, up and down the entire supply chain? Mm-hmm. And how can we help the small mediums be able to take advantage of that technology by adding sensors? One of the projects, for example, that DMDI launched was a retrofit kit that the small mediums could acquire very affordably in order to retrofit their legacy machine tools. Because as you know, Penny, 80 to 90% of the machine tools out there on the shop floor in our country are what you might call legacy machine tools. What you see here at IMTS is the latest and greatest and newest things, fantastic stuff, but a lot of the small medium shops out there still have older equipment. So these retrofit kits with sensors will allow them to take advantage of the new digital technologies.
Actually, one of our winners from the MT Connect Student Challenge did develop an adapter just for that purpose, to put on an older machine to help it get connected through MT Connect. So
yeah, fantastic. I applaud AMT for starting the whole MT Connect initiative. I've been on their board of trustees for the last 10 years. It's absolutely essential so that all these different disparate machine tools and peripheral devices are going to be able to communicate in one language. It'll make this whole digital movement so much easier.
We did have Penny Pritzker here at IMTS giving opening remarks, and she, I believe, announced that the National Network for Manufacturing Innovation is being rebranded as Manufacturing USA. And I also know MForesight is connected with that and the Manufacturing Extension Partnership Program.
Correct.
So how are you bringing those together?
So we're recruiting members to be part of the Leadership Council of MForesight from all the various institutes. As you know, there are now 9 of these manufacturing innovation institutes that have been stood up already. There's another 6 to be announced by the end of this calendar year. So that was the president's main objective, was to have 15 of these. So MForesight will leverage the members of each of these innovation institutes and gather their thoughts about their specific niche technology and how can we get ahead of that technology to make sure that we can train the workforce of the future to be able to incorporate those technologies in manufacturing.
Now, I know you've been around advanced manufacturing technology for a while, so what really gets you excited right now?
Well, digital manufacturing and smart manufacturing are the two things that really get me excited. The idea of being able to take all those zeros and ones, as I mentioned before, and track that entire TDP, that digital TDP through the manufacturing process. And as you manufacture, as you machine, as you assemble, all that intelligence, all that information gets added to that model so that when that product rolls off the end of that production line, you have a digital twin of that exact product. So later down the road, if something does go wrong out in the field, you can come back to that digital twin and figure out what was different about that one that failed versus the ones that didn't fail. So that's very exciting. And then the idea of this smart manufacturing movement, I think Europe calls it Industry 4.0. So being able to have sensors on machine tools streaming real-time data from the machining operations to the cloud, doing predictive analytics, figuring out more efficient ways to manufacture, doing predictive maintenance so that you can tell your maintenance department, hey, let's fix that one bearing that's going to fail before it fails. All that technology is really exciting to me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for your time today, Dean.
My pleasure. Thank you very much, Penny.
This has been Penny Brown for the MFG Advocate on IMTS TV.